Hi. I don't need this to it. I will say I am going to have to read a little bit from my phone, but I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Thank you, Erica, for hosting. This is amazing. Like, what a beautiful place. I love Lisbon. I'm going to be spending the whole month here, so I hope to meet some of you guys in person and actually get to know each other better. So my talk is titled, What the Fuck Comes Next? All will be revealed shortly. I'm just, once I figure out how to use this clicker. Let's see. OK, cool, got it. All right, first of all, good morning. Can you please raise your hand if you've ever felt worse after scrolling the internet? Come on, guys, be honest. I feel like it's a natural thing now. OK, now keep it up if you've seen a loved one share something that's not true on the internet, that they thought was true. OK? Now keep it up if you sent money to family in another country and have seen fees eat at the whole thing. Cool. Now raise your hand if you think it has to be this way. Exactly. OK, here's what's happening. The internet is a miracle. It's the ability to reach anyone, learn anything, find your people, no matter where you're born. That's real magic. But there's a hole in it. There's a pretty big hole. The internet lets you connect with anyone. It does not let you trust them. Think about your own life. You can message a stranger in seconds, but can you make an agreement with them that actually holds? Can you prove who you are without handing over everything about yourself? Can you own something online the way you can own something in real life? You can't all the time. Not really, at least not for all of us. And once you see this, you see it everywhere. Why does social media feel so hollow? You're connected to thousands of people, and you can't tell who's real anymore. Who's a bot? Who's performing? Who actually cares? Why does misinformation spread faster than truth? Because there's no infrastructure for verification, no way to know what's real. So lies travel free, and truth has to fight uphill. Why do middlemen take a cut of everything? Because without trust, someone has to sit between strangers, and whoever sits in the middle makes the rules and takes the fee. Trust is the scarcest thing online, and we cannot build a future without it. So what the fuck comes next? I want to name what we're up against. It's bigger than broken apps or bad UX. We're watching trust itself disappear from the online world. And here's what happens when trust dies. You might have seen it, you might have experienced it yourself. People get scared, they get suspicious, they retreat into smaller and smaller circles. They stop believing strangers can have good intentions, and they start seeing enemies everywhere. And the worst part, this suspicion is being programmed into us by algorithms we don't control, by forces we can't see, that optimize for engagement, which really means optimizing for outrage. If you've been on Twitter, you know what I mean. For division, for fear. That's the world we're heading towards if nothing changes. A world where connection is everywhere and trust is nowhere. Where we can reach anyone and believe no one. I don't accept that future. And I don't think you do either. So what the fuck comes next? Here's what makes this urgent. Every year, more of human life moves online. Our work, our friendships, our creativity, our money, our identities, our memories. Your kids will probably live online more than you do. Their kids, even more. And it's not just humans anymore. AI systems are coming online. Autonomous agents, machines making decisions, transacting, operating in digital space. We are building a digital civilization, whether we realize it or not. Billions of people, and soon billions and trillions of machines, will be living and working and creating online. That is just the eventual reality of where we're headed. It's a whole civilization that is being birthed. But you can't build a civilization without trust. Every single civilization in history was built on trust infrastructure. Ways for strangers to cooperate, agreements that hold, identity you can verify, and property you can own. That's what makes civilization work. It's not technology, it's not just armies, it's trust. But here's what I find beautiful. We know how to do this. Humans have solved this problem before. over and over for tens of thousands of years. Every time we face the trust gap, every time strangers need to cooperate beyond their village, beyond their family, beyond the people they could see and touch, we built new infrastructure for trust itself. Villages became cities, cities became nations, and each time we invented new ways to extend trust further than ever before. Laws, contracts, currencies, institutions. And now we get to do it again for the digital world. For billions of people everywhere, all at once, in a way that's unstoppable, and I think that's a gift. We get to be the generation that completes the internet. So what the fuck comes next? Hardware is the physical layer. Chips, wires, machines, the substrate, everything runs on. Software is the logic layer. Code that makes the machines useful, instructions that turn hardware into tools. But there's a layer that's always been missing: trustware. Trustware is the trust layer, infrastructure that lets us trust the hardware and software we increasingly put our entire lives and value on. We've had hardware, we've had software, more of our life is coming online, and so we need trustware. The stack will finally be complete. So what the fuck comes next? This is not trust in institutions, not trust in corporations. It's not trust in the powerful staying honest. It's trust in math. It's trust in systems. It's trust in things you can verify yourself. My grandmother kept cash under her mattress. I was very lucky enough to have grown up with my grandmother. And I used to think it was like a weird thing that old people do, and I was like, okay, why are you doing that? And when I got older, I actually fully understood. She grew up somewhere where banks closed overnight. The currency she saved her whole life essentially became worthless year after year. The institutions that promised to protect her and she put her trust in simply didn't live up to those promises. She never trusted a system again. And honestly, she was right not to. I probably wouldn't either. But here's what's different about what we're building. My grandmother couldn't verify if her bank was solvent. She had to trust them until she couldn't. Trustware, on the other hand, doesn't ask for your trust. The rules are visible, the execution is automatic. You can verify it yourself anytime with no permission needed. The math does not lie. For the first time in history, you don't have to trust the powerful, you can verify it yourself. Trustware is what lets us, because of this, trustware, as we get more and more digital, is what lets us go deeper. Deeper into the digital world, deeper into AI, deeper into automation, without having to sacrifice our humanity to get there. It's the layer that lets humans trust humans online, humans trust machines online, and eventually machines trusting each other. All verifiable, all without giving up control. And here's what's wild. The people who built hardware didn't know they were building civilizational infrastructure. They were just trying to make circuits work. The people who built software didn't know either. They were just trying to make programs run. But you know exactly what this is. Everyone in this room, you know exactly what this means, and you get to build it anyway. So what the fuck comes next? Let me tell you about Fatima. Fatima is a seamstress in rural Bangladesh. She's 58 years old. She's been working since she was 14, 6 days a week, every single week for 44 years. She did everything right. She saved every month a little bit put aside to build a life for herself, to build a life for her children, a lifetime of discipline. Then one morning, she woke up and her government had devalued the currency overnight. No warning, no vote. Half her savings, gone. Just gone. She didn't make a bad investment. She didn't gamble. She just trusted the system she was born into, and it betrayed her. But that's not the end of the story. A few years later, Fatima's daughter helped her set up an online business, selling her work to customers overseas and importing various different textiles. Things were looking up, going well. Then she got a message from a merchant, someone she'd been talking to for weeks. Friendly, trustworthy, and they were ready to ship something to her shop. So she was ready for a big order. Only it wasn't a merchant. It was a scammer. Someone pretending to be someone they weren't. They took her money and disappeared, and Fatima had to start over all over again. She had no way to verify who she was dealing with, no way to know if this person was real, no way to make an agreement that would actually hold. Fatima was betrayed twice, once by an institution and once by a stranger online. Both times for the same reason. She had to trust and she could not verify. With trustware, both of these betrayals become almost impossible. You build savings that no government can devalue overnight. You build identity that's verifiable before you can transact. Agreements that execute automatically no matter what. No ability to go back on your word. Fatima, like all of us, deserves an internet she can trust, a financial system she can trust, a world she can trust, where the same rules apply to everyone and not just the powerful. That's what we're building. So what the fuck comes next? Ethereum is trustware, and it's working. Ethereum has been running for over 10 years, 0 downtime, 15 successful network upgrades, not a single day offline. There's $116 billion in economic security protected network, 970,000 trusted validators distributed across the world. These are all strangers coordinating. No single point of failure in that case, no pause button, and minimal counterparty risk as a result. $170 billion in stablecoins, more than half the global supply, $75 billion locked in DeFi protocols, with real people now starting to use this to depend on their life. This economic power proves it more and more. People, institutions, and even nations are choosing to trust this network. But these are numbers, right? You guys see these numbers all the time. Like, how many times have you seen a thing and someone's talking at a conference and it's these numbers over and over again? It's like 10 billion today, 20 billion tomorrow, right? It's trust. This exists so Fatima doesn't have to suffer the way that she did in her life twice. That's what this really means. These are numbers that you'll forget in a couple minutes probably. Hopefully Fatima's story is something that you remember forever, because that is what we need to build for, and that's why we're here. 20 years of ideas are finally working. The cryptography works, the scaling works, the institutions are here, the users are coming. This isn't maybe someday, this is probably now. Now, remember the hands that we had at the beginning where it's like you feel worse online, you see fake news, fees, like someone you love sharing something fake. That all changes when truth itself has infrastructure, when verification is easy, and when trust doesn't require blind faith. Fees eating your family's money, that changes when Fatima can save her money without permission, when trust does not require expensive middlemen. Those hands that we raised earlier can go down permanently for everyone. That's what trustware does, and that's what we were building. And that's responsibility. So let me tell you what I see when I look at this room. I see people building something essential. I don't see people building a product. I don't even see people building a protocol. I generally do see people building a civilizational primitive. You're building the trust layer that the digital world has been missing since the beginning. You are completing the internet. We're going deeper into technology every single day. More of our lives are online. There's more AI, more automation, and more systems we can't see making decisions we don't understand. And that can go one of two ways. Option a future where we lose ourselves in technology we can't trust, where we're surrounded by systems that do not answer to us, where we trade our humanity for convenience and hope for the best. Or a future where technology finally earns our trust, where the systems are verifiable, where the rules are visible, where we go deeper into the digital world without giving up what makes us human. That's the fork in the road, and the room here is building that path. So what the fuck comes next? You get to shape the civilizational primitive of digital trust. You get to build infrastructure that billions of people will rely on. You get to ensure that as we go deeper into technology, we don't have to sacrifice our humanity, our privacy, our autonomy, our dignity, and our faith in each other. That is a responsibility, one that will be remembered long, long, long after we're gone. And you're the ones who showed up to carry that responsibility. You get to build systems that Fatima can believe in, because they don't require belief. They're verifiable. We've had hardware, we've had software, and now it's time for trustware. It's time to build an internet we can trust, a world that we can trust, for everyone who has access to it, aka everyone, because everyone should have online access. So, when someone asks you, when your family asks you, when your friends ask you, when the skeptics ask you, when the journalists that only show up when the crypto markets crash ask you, what the fuck comes next? You say, we do. Thank you.